we have something particularly different and certainly very apropos for the time period we are currently living in, given the taxes applied to diesel cars and petrol cars alike, ULEZ zones, etc., which certainly aren't getting any smaller over time, and that is a 2018 facelift model Tesla. A Tesla Model S, of course the flagship of their range, here in that facelifted, updated, upgraded form, a 75D model in particular, and of course that D in its name is one of the most important upgrades because that means dual motor. In other words, four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, even more grip, certainly even more performance off the line, and Teslas are certainly very well known for that. In the case of this one, well, being a 75D, it certainly isn't slow, that's for sure. In fact, with around 380 horsepower, 380 foot-pounds of torque, that means about a 5-second 0 to 60 time, and on paper, that's how quick it is. In practice, that means that, of course, because of the consistency of electric performance and the fact that you lose no time at all on gear changes, clutch control, etc., in other words, zero lag, the acceleration feels even quicker than that, and it's completely unbroken all the way up to whatever speed you want the car to achieve. In addition to that performance, of course, you want to be able to use a car like this as an executive car, essentially a rival to the more established German and beyond brands. Well, as you'd expect, it does come equipped with Tesla Autopilot, which of course is one of the key things these cars are known for as well. It has that gorgeous full panoramic roof. It's only had 2 keepers, incidentally, from 2018, and the most recent of those have owned the car for 3 years, so clearly it served them very well. The battery range, for those curious, is just over 300 miles, so certainly as a commuter around town, particularly in ULEZ zones, it's a fantastic choice, and these days with the amount of both chargers and that long distance range on its own merit, it's actually a much better long distance car than you would think. Certainly much better than electric cars were not too long ago. At the same time, this is one of, if not quite possibly the most affordable Tesla Model S's in the country at barely over £20,000. These of course were a lot more expensive than that, so if you are looking to get all of the advantages of an electric car, certainly again in this day and age, moving into 2025 in particular, well, that's a fantastic price point because you could quite easily spend that on a more traditional vehicle in the same kind of category, but have to then pay road tax, ULEZ, of course far more costs on fuel, etc, etc. In addition to that self-driving autopilot though, it's also equipped of course with an onboard charger, of course dual zone climate control, cruise control, USB connectivity, of course front and rear storage, thanks to being an electric vehicle, Bluetooth hands-free is ready to go, front and rear parking sensors, and a particularly nice touch, and certainly a useful one when it comes to the parking sensors on these cars, is it tells you the actual distance away from objects around you. It also of course has that instantly recognizable 17-inch touchscreen display with inbuilt sat-nav, is of course supercharger ready, and of course there are more and more of those Tesla chargers popping up not only in the UK but virtually everywhere in the world at this point. All 3 rear seats are ISOFIX ready if of course you need to transport child seats, and it even has built-in Wi-Fi and voice control as well. When it comes to performance, as mentioned, it is fantastically quick. The performance through corners in particular is even better thanks to the increased grip of the dual motor system. The range is over 300 miles as mentioned, and on top of that already fantastic price tag of barely over £20,000, it is also available with low deposit finance on top of that if you so chose. So in other words, it offers you everything which everyone raves about Tesla ownership, but for a fraction of the cost, and particularly these days, a lot of those advantages, let alone its performance, are particularly useful. So then if you are considering a Tesla and this particular example catches your eye, of course you could reach out regarding it via the email address shown here on screen, or of course give us a call on 01749 871 155 or via our mobile number of 07482 267 439.